All right, well, let me just get this straight. Crystia Freeland just got hired as an economic advisor to Ukraine. Let me say that again. Economic advisor. This woman was Canada's finance minister, okay? She ran a deficit of $61.9 billion. That's $20 billion over her own target. Now, what I'm about to tell you is actually quite staggering when you realize that not only did she balloon the deficit, but she went over her own numbers. Canada has sent over $23.5 billion to Ukraine since 2022. That includes $12.4 billion in direct financial support. Now, per capita, that's the largest contribution from any G7 country. And while Freeland was the finance minister, Canada continuously ran deficits. Like I said, $23.5 billion to Ukraine. She went over her own numbers by $40 billion. The parliamentary budget officer says Canada won't balance the budget until 2040. But who are we kidding? Who would believe that the deficit in Canada would ever be balanced? You might as well just have as much knowledge as Justin Trudeau, if that's the case, if you're going to believe that. Again, she resigned because of costly political gimmicks. But in September 2025, she steps back from the cabinet. Same day, the otherwise unelected PM, Mark Carney, who's her son's godfather, by the way, elects her as the special representative for Ukraine's reconstruction. How rich and sentimental. Zelensky personally asks her to become the economic advisor now. She was in Ukraine this entire time. What was she doing there? Well, in January of this year, she now announces that, guess what? She's taken the job, but it's going to be unpaid. Well, she's also leaving Parliament. Oh, and quite the busy lady. She's also starting as the CEO of the Roads Trust in the UK in July. So let's talk about the conflict of interest. And before I do, can I ask you something? Does conflict of interest mean anything in Canada anymore? Because the politicians, they don't really seem to give a shit about federal laws. Duff Conisher of Democracy Watch said this clearly violates the federal government ethics laws. Freeland took a position with a foreign government while still being an MP. Do you really think they care? They don't. They don't. We don't really care what conservative MPs Michael Chong has to say either, because nobody cares about conflict of interest or ethics laws in the Trudeau government, or so it seems. I mean, how many times are you going to break the law and Canadians don't care? Of course, they're going to keep doing it. Why would they stop? So now it looks like Crystia Freeland is the one for the job in Ukraine. So, I don't know, destroy Canada, balloon the deficit, send $23.5 billion of Canadian taxpayer fund to Ukraine, and now be their economic advisor. And what happens to Canada? Well, let's just say that we are not headed anywhere good if they're actually admitting that the deficits are going to continue to run until 2040. That means that we're going to have high inflation, unaffordable living, and just total unsustainability until 2040. How many people are going to fall off the ladder in Canada before then? 1.98 million people without a family doctor in Canada. Thank you very much to the Liberal government. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service to this country. I don't know what to say. I think Ukraine thanks you more than us. Thank you so much.